Florida Governor Ron DeSantis gracing the cover of Time magazine with the headline, "What Ron DeSantis Means for America," as he is expected to officially announce his presidential campaign next week.
Time magazine writing, quote, "DeSantis has transformed the nation's third most populous state. What was once the butt of a joke about gators and retirees is now the swaggering southern-tinged free state of Florida, where men are men, woke is broke, and business is booming." Fox News contributor Joe Concha is joining us now. Good morning, Joe. What do you think about this?
Have we looked at that cover closely? Because it's kind of revealing as far as how they depict Ron DeSantis on this particular cover. He's snarling, right? Not exactly a happy guy. He's peeling off an orange. What does that imply? He's tearing the Sunshine State apart. Then you look at Joe Biden, okay? And he's had several covers, but this one makes him look like Danny Zuko. All right, the John Travolta character in Greece. Like, boy, does he look cool. He's wearing those shades. He's staring down Vladimir Putin. That's all you need to know. Sometimes pictures are worth, what, 1,000 words, Todd.
Now the question becomes, who's the one that they want? Shubop, shabadaba, boop, boop, boop. You said Danny Zuko. I made a Grease reference. Jesus. I thought you guys would both enjoy that more than
as long as we don't talk about Grease 2.
No, not a good movie. Our latest presidential poll of GOP presidential contenders showing Donald Trump ahead of Ron DeSantis by 23 points. We should mention that as well. Going to be interesting to see when Ron DeSantis declares next week. Want to get your thoughts on this? Wired magazine turning heads after publishing a gushing profile of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. The headline reads, quote, "Pete Buttigieg loves God, beer, and his electric Mustang," which seems like a questionable choice.
Yeah.
And the article goes on to say, sure, the secretary has thoughts on building bridges, but infrastructure occupies just a sliver of his voluminous mind. I don't know, Joe, maybe infrastructure should occupy a little more than just a sliver, in light of the state of our roads, the train disasters, all that.
I love this quote here, also from the piece. "With a remarkable blend of intellect and empathy, Pete Buttigieg brings a fresh perspective to the forefront of public discourse." Of course, this puff piece to end all puff pieces, to your point, doesn't talk about the fact that we've had breakdown after breakdown during heavy travel seasons of our transportation system. Doesn't talk about the supply chain crisis that went south while he went on maternity leave, not for a week or two, but for 2 months. And it doesn't talk about the fact that Joe Biden once mocked Mayor Pete for not filling potholes in South Bend, Indiana, and then he chooses a guy to run the transportation department. So if you look at Pete Buttigieg on his record, he has no business being near the Oval Office, but boy, many in the media would rather see him as the Democratic nominee than the current occupant in the Oval Office, Joe Biden.
Well, when you write your next book, your audio should be read just like you did.
Like Mr. Burns.
That was great.
That was very Mr. Burns-like.
Yes, thank you, Smithy.
We have to get to this, though. I definitely want your thoughts on the LA Dodgers no longer honoring a transgender group that dress up like nuns during the team's Pride Night next month after getting major backlash. The team pulling a 180, announcing yesterday, quote, "Given the strong feelings of people who have been offended by the sisters' inclusion in our evening, and as in an effort not to distract from the great benefits that we've seen over the years of Pride Night, we are deciding to remove them from this year's group of honorees." Your thoughts?
I think, Ashley, that sports, Todd will tell you this, you're a Chiefs fan as well. Mm-hmm. Why do we watch half the time? For escapism. Major League Baseball and professional sports in general need to stop doing this. Just put a good product on the field and treat your fans with respect. To push all this stuff when people are just trying to go to the ballpark, have a beer, have a dog, a little popcorn, have a good time. Instead, this is what ends up happening. You end up being the butt of controversy when it's a complete unforced error.
As a former Dodger season ticket holder, how do they think this would go over with a Dodger fan base that is majority Catholic Latino? Mind-numbing.
Precisely.
Joe Concha,
Thanks,
have a
Joe.
great weekend. We thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.